Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to take a look at the footage that came out today from FarmCon 24. It is the first actual footage of the gameplay from FarmSim. They were very proud of the fog. They talked about the fog, God rays, because obviously when you have fog, you have God rays. Here's some cool lighting effects showing the God rays coming through the trees. And so I'm just going to kind of give you a quick overview of what they did. We're just going to look at the footage itself and kind of critique what we see, interspersed with some footage of Kermit and Stephan talking. So you can see there's reflections in the water now. You can see once again God rays, God rays, God rays, fog, fog. There was a lot of talk about the fog. I will say this, though. Having atmosphere does take the game away from cartoony and brings it to a little bit more realistic looking. You can see right here, this looks really nice. So that will, when you wake up in the morning and go to do your harvesting, taking care of your animals, there's going to be some atmosphere, and the game won't look quite as cartoony as 22 did. So it's going to have, it still has the same graphics, but they've been improved a bit. And that's how FarmSim seems to roll. They do incremental upgrades of the graphical system, and that is what we're seeing here. Now you can see really nice night lighting and that type of stuff. You got lights that actually broadcast through the fog, so we have volumetric lighting along with the fog. You see here, oh, two different layers here. That's really cool. So you have fog on the ground, and yet it's clear up higher. And that I see this in real life a lot of times in the morning when I'm driving around the fields. Fields have a lot of moisture in them, and they tend to hold fog longer in the mornings, so you see it. Look at that, and that cool bridge picture. Once again, seeing some of the same footage here. This map is the American map. It is called Riverbend something. I didn't get the second part of what they said, but Riverbend, it's supposed to be supposedly somewhere along the Mississippi, or maybe one of the branches of the Mississippi. This is the idea of this map. So it's going to have that kind of thick, very green trees. There is a lot of fog there at night. You can also grow rice there, because we do have a rice belt here in America, and that is along the Mississippi River area. So, you know, that's going to be perfect. Here, they're showing off the volumetric lighting and also the new volumetric system for the trees. And then they're going to go back and talk about shadows, but they're kind of going through both of this here. And one of the things they explained was that the trees and the crops now have more volume. So basically what that means to us is that everything is going to have a fuller look. And that's pretty exciting. And you can see it in the demos of the game. You're able to see the thicker trees and the thicker looking crops. They look more 3D. Here we have they're showing that the clouds actually cast shadows now too. So the clouds are also a fog layer, which is cool. I think it's neat that we're going to have, once again, it'll add to that realistic feel of the game. So the clouds are real this time. They're no longer just a skybox, but we actually have moving clouds. I mean, it's still a skybox, but the clouds are actually moving over the crops. And when you have a day where there's no clouds, there'll be no shadows on the fields, but that gives it a much more realistic feel. And here's some more high views up of the American map. So there's a lot of mountains around it. I guess maybe Arkansas, you would see that a bit. Some of Missouri, could be the Missouri River. It could be in the Ozarks, maybe. There's a decent amount of Pennsylvania-ish mountains, actually. Here they're showing off the volumetric trees again. They still kind of have a flat look, though. You can see over here like this. That's still flat looking. But the trees do have a thicker look to them. So they're very proud of that. We're going to pause right here. They are recycling some of the shots. There's more trees. But this is all in-game footage, which is what I wanted to see. I don't really care about the trailer schmaler. The trailer is good for showing you things that are coming in the game, but I want to actually see the game. Now, one thing you'll notice that I didn't see, and a lot of people are pointing this out in the comments for the main video, that, oh, I don't see any terrain deformation. There's the volumetric crops. They do look a lot thicker, don't they? And that is a disappointment to myself also. I did notice that they really didn't talk about mud, terrain deformation, anything that they mentioned in the early previews. So does that mean it doesn't exist? I don't know. But it might be that we don't have it. But hopefully we do. Once again, these are early release footages, so some of the stuff, they're only sharing bits and pieces. They said there is more to come this weekend, so we'll try to cover things as they come out. Moving along, this is kind of cool. This is actual footage driving along the main road, or one of the main roads on this new map. And you can see here, looks really good. The lighting really does make a big difference here. It kind of reminds me of the hill in Westbridge, just before the farm. Except for in Westbridge, that road's at the top of the hill, not at the bottom. So probably not, but it does have some Westbridge-ish-esque. One thing that they wanted you to notice was the reflections on the hood of the tractor, and that I didn't say that fast enough, so let's take a real quick look again here. You can see the reflections. That's new for this year. So slight improvements. Here we have the boat dock. Yes, they have announced that they're for sure. Oh, look at this. I love this picture because you can see American style, I guess they're signals, but I think they're called semaphore towers, these. Though I think usually they're on the side, the semaphores. But this is probably still considered a semaphore tower, but they're signal towers. We have a boat, looks like some kind of pontoon dock. And so we're moving down the river here. Oh, and look at this. There's a ferry barge. This apparently is operational, and you will be able to drive your tractors onto that and then use the ferry to get across the river. If there's no bridge in the area, that might be the fastest way to get across the river. That is cool. Here's some footage of a river. We've seen some of these. Here it really is looking very Farm Sim 22-ish. So I don't. But the God Rays do add that cool depth. Oh, see, look at that now. Once again, taken back into the next level because there's some fog on the river. And we got the semaphores here. So there's going to be a train in here somewhere. I don't know if we're going to get to drive it. Probably. They've been doing that for the last couple versions. But then we also have the ferry crossing. But this is cool footage. Look at that. Looks like maybe a grain elevator there. Cool stuff. Once again, he just was confirming that we are going to use the ferry during this segment of the video. And they show the river again. Here's where they mentioned, this is the tractor dealer. Here's where they mentioned that there will be over 400 brands or 400 different pieces of equipment in the game, which I think the last game had 300 some. So that's a lot of equipment. And they're just showing the dealership. This is a cool scene though here. This is the animal dealer, and you're going to notice something around the back here that I really like. Oh, look, there's actually animals in the pens at the animal dealer. That is something that just simple little thing that has been missing from Farm Sim forever. So at least they fixed that, and we now have animals in pens at the animal dealer. Because you should. When you go there should be livestock there. So I thought that was pretty neat to see that. Once again, they're kind of just showing the cows there in the pens, and they kind of played everything twice. But you get to see the Massey. Is that a 6 series? Maybe an 8 series? I don't know. That's a big tractor. Pretty cool. And see, it says work in progress footage, not final. So I'm wondering, once again, if we're going to see terrain deformation later this week, or maybe not until further down the road. Maybe they're not ready to release it yet. In this segment, they just talked about forestry. You can see there's I think that's an oak tree to the right there. We used to have those in my yard when I was growing up. God, I can't imagine trying to cut that thing down. That would be a nightmare. But just showing the volumetric trees again, showing that there's a dirt bike trail, though even though Kermit was trying to point it out, Stephan was kind of resisting, saying, well, little tractors can go down here. Not wanting to. They didn't reveal that there was a bike. They didn't say for sure that there was going to be motorbikes. Personally, not a big deal for me. Oh, look at that little purple flower there. They talked about that. That looks like maybe spinach growing, that is one of the new crops. There's something up in that tower that they wouldn't talk about. He said, well, that's a surprise that we're going to leave for later this weekend. I don't know what that is, but there's some kind of surprise up there. Maybe you hunt from the tower. Huh. We've added hunting into Farm Sim 22. You can now have a venison. I'm just kidding. That's me just being silly. Please do not take that as gospel. Once again, don't see any terrain deformation going on, but work in progress. Hopefully we will see that. This next segment's pretty cool here. They show us doing some of the rice work. Apparently, to do rice, you set up some greenhouses and you put the seedlings in, and they become saplings. And what will happen is they will show up as a pallet on the outside once they're done. So you got to make sure that they have, it looks like just water, and you have to put saplings in, and they're running. And then once they've gotten mature enough, they show up here on a pallet, and you're going to take this pallet over to your rice harvest or your rice planter. Apparently, you can plant with both American-style planters. There's an American planter that does it. But you can also use this Iseki. This is what they would use in Japan. You actually have a, or Izeki, I think is how he pronounced it. Izeki, something like that. Isuzuchi. This is how they're showing you how it goes. It loads from the pallet to the planter. Ta-da! And then we're going to see the planter go down, or the planter go down into the water. Once again, apparently you can use a tractor with some sort of seeder also to do this. I don't know if it's a regular seeder that we're using or if it's a specific attaches to a tractor rice seeder. Don't know. But this planter plants them when they're already grown, so we get to just kind of see this thing in action. So this is actual gameplay footage. They were kind of excited about how the water looks, the way it like ripples when the tractor's in it. That's pretty cool. That is cool. I think it would ripple a little bit more. That's just me. Maybe not. I've never seen one working in real life. Then they jump over to the harvester. They have, here's the rice crop fully grown. Yeah, it looks good. Look at that fog. It looks really good. Once again, this is how Farm Sim evolves. It evolves. It doesn't leap. So we get little added things in, graphically speaking, that... and they also hinted that, by the way, they've done a lot of optimization with the engine, so supposedly frame rates will be better. So maybe a little bit easier on hardware. And so even though we're getting cooler things, we're also getting maybe some improvement in performance. Not that I have any issues. I run about 140 frames a second at 2K, 2.5K. So it's not... I haven't seen any issues, but I also have a monster video card. The end result is that you have this rice harvester, and it's looking pretty cool. And the whole scenery looks cool with all the atmosphere going on. These are machines that they would use in Japan. This is on it, Japan. And these are Izeki once again. Now, also curious to see later on what brands are going to be in the game, because Kubota and also Mahindra make a lot of rice equipment. Both those companies have a ton of different rice harvesters, from this like advanced to ones that are just open. So you have open rice harvesters where you sit outside, just like the cedar, and you have these closed cabin ones. Something interesting about rice that I didn't know that will come up here in a second, though. He's showing off how the rice feeds through the harvester. That's pretty cool. And once again, in-game footage. That's what I like to see. But he also pointed out that somewhere here, and I don't see it personally, but somewhere here is a GPS control. So they are sort of kind of confirming that, oh, look, there's GPS controls. And then he blocked the screen with his body so you couldn't see it. But they did talk about GPS being involved in the game as we creep closer and closer there. Oh, there it is, GPS right down here. So you have GPS signal. So apparently that would be a great thing, because then you don't have to hire a worker. You can use the GPS system and just sit in the tractor. It doesn't cost you anything, except for maybe adding GPS to the tractor. New Holland CR11, they were very proud to show this harvester. And yes, he is harvesting rice. So you can, if you're doing an American map, you don't have to buy a Japanese rice harvester. You can use a full-size harvester to harvest the rice. I don't know. I mean, this would go a lot faster. I like the idea of the Japanese rice harvester, but maybe on the Asian map is where I would use that. And here, you could definitely use the big harvester for that. So, and he said there's also 2 types of rice. It's not just a single. There's long grain and regular, it looks like. So here they're harvesting long grain rice. Pretty neat stuff. And pretty much from that point forward, they went on to talk about Season 5 of their competitive gameplay garbage that I don't really care about. So if you care about it, you continue to watch the video. Go back and watch it on their site, and they'll talk about it. I forget what they call it, but FarmCon or whatever, where they compete for a decent amount of money. Farming Simulator League, that's what it is. To me, that's not stuff that I'm really interested in. But anyway, I'm excited to see what's coming. Once again, I didn't see any terrain deformation. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are sort of upset by that. But we did get to see some of the new key features. Also, we didn't see any water buffalo. And I know that that's kind of the big next animal that's coming in the game. So that was also not present in the video. But anyway, I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited too. I'm looking forward to Farm Sim 25, and definitely keeping my fingers crossed that's going to be good. If you're going to buy a copy from Giants, I know a lot of you guys like to buy from Steam or you want to buy from Epic, and you don't want to buy it from the Farm Sim website, but I ask you, please, if you can handle it, if you could buy it from the Giants website, it helps me out a lot. You're going to use my referral code on their website, which is Chapman, C-H-A-P as in Paul, M-A-N. And I'll put a link in the description also, or the top comment. I'll pin it. It'll be the link to my page on their website. But I need to sell like $1,500 worth of Farm Sim copies for them to give me early access continually. So right now I've got 18 months to slide. But when that 18 months is over, if I haven't sold that much product, you guys will no longer be able to come here for early access stuff. I know there's not a ton of you that do, but I've got a good 1,000 to 3,000 people that come on here and watch, the early access stuff. Sometimes more. We've had sometimes like 80, 90,000 people watch some of these videos. So if you're one of those guys that comes here for news, which I don't do a lot of, but I do early coverage and I love doing it, please buy it from their website, because that really helps me be able to get that early access coverage, which otherwise I'll lose. So anyway, I'm a partner right now, but I need to get that $1,500 mark to stay a partner. So click on the link in the description or in the comments. Other than that, though, guys, have a great night. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help. And we will be continuing the series with Micah in Brazil. I think Kyle, I might add Kyle in my logging series back from River Run. Kyle and I had a River Run series going. We're going to add that back very possibly in the next couple weeks. As I've busted through all these new games that have come out. There's just been so many great new games coming out, so I had to cover all that. Anyway, have a good time, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.